Hi guys, it's Caribbean Bookworm here. Today I'm going to be doing the Booktube Newbie Tag. It's basically something you do when you're new to the Booktube community and you want to introduce yourself, your motivations, why you love books, by answering a couple of questions. And I'm very excited to be a part of this community because there are a lot of people interested in a couple of really great books. And I'm curious to see where this goes and how this will end up. So the first question is, why did you start this channel? Well, simply because I adore books. I actually always wanted to start a YouTube channel, and I have tried before, but the thing is I wasn't consistent with my videos, so it ended up not being so well. Second question, what are some unique things you can bring to Booktube? When doing reviews, I intend to do more with my non-fiction book reviews. I read a lot of non-fiction books because that's also one of my favorite genres, so I want to do more than just talk about how it's written, about the author, about the information and stuff. I want to actually, well, the information is part of where I'm going here, but I actually want to talk more about the facts behind that book. I want to do my own research. I want to look up the facts and give you guys some valid information, like some backup, some arguments on what I agreed on, what I didn't agree on, and why did I agree on said things or why I didn't, etc. So I want to look up more in depth when it comes to nonfiction book reviews, and in that way it's a win-win for you and me, because for me, I tend to broaden my horizons. I tend to know more things as I research certain topics. And for you, you get more research materials. You can look up these things for yourselves. So that's always a plus. Third question, what are you the most excited about for this channel? Well, for me, it's simply the ability to being able to openly express my thoughts. I have a lot of interest, I have a lot of passions, so I can't express these passions often because not everyone can relate to these things as much as I do. So it's really amazing to know that there will be people literally searching up topics like this and actually looking into this type of thing. So I can talk about these things, I can make videos about these topics for people that actually are interested in these topics. Fourth question, why do you love reading? One way that I can sum it up is basically that I can see things, I can view things from different perspectives, and I can live through places and scenarios that I normally wouldn't be able to do in my day-to-day life. So being able to live those stories, live those tales, or live those life of actual people, that is amazing. That is just incredible how on this collection of data on a digital medium or this flexible piece of wood with funny dots, you can literally imagine the most bizarre of scenarios and just go through all these motions. So that's basically the joy for me in reading. Fifth question, what book or series got you into reading? For me, that would be a Dutch book, or it's actually series, but I only read one of them. And that would be the Griezelbus, or in English you may call it the Gruesome School Trip. There's a movie about this as well. I think it came out in 2005, so if you guys are interested, you can just check out the movie, maybe with English subtitles. But basically, I don't remember the plot of this book really well, but it's basically about a high school group going on a school trip, and then this trip going for the worse when... Sixth question, what would you ask your favorite booktuber? Well, I don't have any particular question in mind, since my favorite booktubers are actually really down to earth. So when I've commented on their videos, they've actually responded. So I don't have any current question that I would really like to ask them. And even if I did, I know that they'd be willing to answer me. Because basically, if you come up to in a polite manner and ask these questions, ask for genuine tips and help, or just recommend hey, you can read this book is really awesome if you like that book, or something like that. If you come in a polite, genuine manner, they'd be willing to listen, they'd be willing to help out. The booktube community is really accepting, and it's one of the most amazing things about this community. Seventh question, what challenges do you think would be the hardest to overcome by starting this channel? Alright, for me that would be basically reading a specific book during a specific time period. Because the thing with me is I have school as well. Well, obviously, but sometimes it would be hard to say that I will read this book in like 2 weeks or something, because I actually have other things to do. I have projects to finish, I have to study for the exams and all those things going on. So I wouldn't always be able to do a book reviews at a specific period, but I'll try my best. It's what I'm hoping to do. It's what I'm hoping to gain with by planning and organizing my time when I'm filming and stuff. Eighth question: when did you start reading? Well, if you mean this literally, I started reading when I was about 3 or 4 years old. But if you mean it in the sense that when did I start actually like reading books, it would be when I was around 11 years old. Again, coming back to the gruesome school trip, it all started with this book. When I read this book for the first time, I got really engaged, especially with the creepy stories. It was sort of my goosebumps. A lot of people have fond memories of their childhood reading Goosebumps and watching the TV show. For me, it was this particular book that got me like really hooked into reading when I was around 11 years old. So yeah, that's when it started. Question: where do you read? Well, I typically read when I'm sitting on my bed, but I always have a book with me. When I go to, like, let's say the dentist office, I have my book with me. When I go to school, I always carry like an extra book in my backpack. Everywhere I go, there's always a book with me, because whenever I get the chance, I want to whip that book out and I want to start reading it. So there's always a book with me. It's inevitable. And last but certainly not least, the last question is, what kind of books do you like to read? Well, in terms of genre, I like reading thrillers, horror, and sci-fi. I kind of like fantasy as well. That usually relates to sci-fi in a way. I've read a lot of thrillers. I love like Gone Girl and The Silence of the Lambs. So especially Silence of the Lambs, I had great experiences reading that book. Horror, I haven't read a lot of horror yet, but I'm basically going to be reading a lot of those when I get my Stephen King books. I've recently just ordered a bunch of Stephen King books. They're on their way right now, and it's kind of exciting because I got kind of obsessed with Stephen King lately, and I want to read most of his books anyway, especially those relating to the Dark Tower, because I've ordered like an 8-book box set of all the Dark Tower books, and I want to get into like that universe, since I heard that it's like kind of like a Western sci-fi thing, and sometimes mixed with a sprinkle of horror. And it sounds just like the thing I want to read. So before like reading the books, I'm kind of a completionist. So before that, I'm going to be reading The Stand, which I've also ordered, Eyes of the Dragon, which I've also ordered, and maybe even Salem's Lot. I've ordered Salem's Lot and Everything's Eventual, along with those other two. That's it for the Newbie Tag, guys. I hope you guys are looking forward to more of my videos, and I want to try my best to do book reviews and all those fun like different events. Like one of my favorites is actually like the readathon, and I tend to do it on my own, but now I can actually share it on YouTube, so that's kind of really fun. And hope you guys are looking more forward to my videos, and stay tuned. See you guys soon. Bye.